Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Charette, and I'm one of the professional services engineers over here at DocuWare. So today we're going to go over how to manage orders conveniently from the home office, leveraging forms. So we're going to create a simple to use form for order processing. It's going to allow a team to index a document without needing direct access to DocuWare. It's going to input customer information and the order information as the team member is taking a call from a customer. And this is also going to allow multiple departments to have access to the order, from your accounts receivable down to the warehouse if they have to ship product. And it's going to leverage workflow to process these documents. So we're going to have the order inputted. Customer service team enters the order, document is filed. We're going to wait for the workflow to process it. Workflow alerts the users. Users take action on the document to send it further down the line. We can replace existing paper forms to easily archive into DocuWare. Forms can also be made public. For example, it can be used by a customer service team member for new orders, or say, for example, the HR department. We also have additional info on our website. We have DocuWare knowledge base articles, the DocuWare Knowledge Center, the DocuWare community forums where you can leverage the skill set of other engineers that are implementing DocuWare on a continual basis, and also access to some DocuWare support as well from the community forums. And then we also have DocuWare support. So we're going to go ahead and get started making some forms today. So we're going to go ahead and create a new form. This isn't before our order processing. We're going to go ahead and create a new form. We're going to call this orders info. Give it a unique name. We're going to change the title to be orders info, and we'll get rid of the subtitle there. So my first piece of information I'm going to want to capture is I want to create a automatic numbering system for my document. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a automatic number. I have predefined my order number and the numbering group on the store dialog. I'm going to call this order ID. And then my next piece of information I want to capture is I want to capture the first name and last name of the customer. So I'm going to put in first name. I don't need a format field mask. I can set instructions for the user. I can also use a predefined entry. And I also want to make this required. Now I can set my maximum length and minimum length based on my field size within DocuWare. So inside of DocuWare, my field size is set to 255. I like to click save every so often. I'm going to capture my last name. I'm going to set my maximum length to 255. I also want to make this a required. I also want to capture my email address of the customer. That way they could receive updates and we can capture their information into DocuWare if we have to communicate with them. And I'm not going to set a maximum length for this. I'm also going to make this a required field. Now for our next set of line, we're going to create our shipping address where the customer will receive their product to. So I'll go ahead and do shipping address. Make that required. Now, when a customer is going to pay their bill, we also need to know their billing address to make sure it lines up. So I'm going to go ahead and do a drop down. And then I'm going to do a simple list here. Yes or no. I'm going to get rid of the third option here. I do want to make this required. And I'm going to set some instructions for the user. I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to add in another multiple line text. And we're going to call this billing address. We will want to make this required, but I don't want to show this field when I'm inputting in my order. So I'm going to add a new behavior. Billing address different. So I'm going to do billing address because that's my determining factor. When this billing address will be shown. And I want to make it equal to no. And then I can make it's going to be required, but otherwise hidden. Now that I've gotten this far in setting up my order, I can go ahead and test this. What I can do is there's a little play button here. I can do a preview. We could do desktop or mobile. So for this, I'm going to do desktop. And I'm going to just go ahead and put in some as you can see during testing, you cannot submit. And as you can see, my billing address doesn't show. But now, when I choose no, it shows me my billing address. So now I'm going to go ahead and close that. The benefits of using Forms is that you can use it on a mobile device. And this is how it would appear in mobile. As you see, it becomes very linear based on devices. So if I was going to use a mobile device, I may want to use a different form to be made public for mobile devices. Now, my next piece of information I want to capture in what the customer is going to be ordering. So I'm going to go ahead and add another title below. I'm going to align it to be centered. We'll just call this product info. I'm going to add a new behavior because I don't want to see that until my billing address is either the same or billing address is not empty. Otherwise, I'm going to remain hidden. Go ahead and save that. And since I added a new behavior, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that's the expected behavior. Perfect. Yep, now it shows me my product info below. So now we're going to do our drop-down ordering information. So I'm going to do quantity. Now I could have a select list where I have the quantities already predefined in a select list, or I can do a user provided. So I'll do 1, 2, and 3 pieces of quantity. I'm going to add a new behavior. And then I want to do billing address is not empty, or perfect. And I can resize my field here. I'm going to go ahead and add another drop-down for my product. And then I'm going to choose a select list. And I have a predefined list called product list. I'm going to set my behavior so it's tied to quantity as well. I'm going to go ahead and click save. And I'm going to add in the same drop-downs below for a second quantity, for another line item. So I'll call this quantity 2. Do 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to add a new behavior. Call this quantity 2. make that is not empty. And my product is not empty as well. Otherwise, I want it to remain hidden. I'm going to do this also with my product. So I'll call this product 2. I'll make this a select list. And then since I already predefined my behavior, I'm going to call this quantity 2. Go ahead and hit save. Now that I've got my form created, I'm going to go into my submission. So the options I have for the document is I can, as it's inputted in, it's going to take that form and convert it into a PDF based on how that form looks. Otherwise, I can merge the form with another document that's stored within Docuware. My post submission options, I can change the form. So I'm going to change this to be order successfully submitted. And then since this is my customer service team and they're going to most likely be taking another phone call, I'm going to have them automatically perform the following action, start a new form. And then I can have a delay. Do I want to have it happen immediately or a 5-second delay? Well, if they're going to be taking a phone call, I want to happen immediately. My output is where the document is going to be stored in. So I want to put it into my file cabinet of orders. And then indexing. So I have a index field within that file cabinet called order ID. And since it's an automatic number, it's going to automatically populate that order ID. The first name got mapped. My last name got mapped automatically. My shipping address and my billing address. Now I also want to capture my email address. I'm going to click save. Now you've noticed that I have a customer service rep. So I can make this a fixed value. Based off of the predefined list. Well, I don't know who's going to be using this, so I want to go ahead and create another dropdown for my customer service rep. Now I can go back and I can now decide where I want to put this on my document. And then I have a predefined list of customer service rep. And I want to make sure my customer service rep gets the recognition that they deserve. I'm going to click save there. Go back to my indexing. And now I have my customer service rep. Click save again. Now I have permissions. So I got to make my current user that I'm logged in with, allow them to use the form. I can also make the form public. It's going to ask for a public user who can store documents within that file cabinet. So I can create a public account and give it the password. And then I could choose to validate it. And now the public form can be used outside my organization. The benefit to using a form outside of your organization is if you want to have, say, vendors upload their own vendor invoices in, or you want to have a job applicant be able to fill out forms, upload their resume. That's when you would want to use a public forum, or even in the case of a customer service rep, you have many store locations and they're going to be using a mobile device to take orders. That would definitely be a perfect place to leverage a public forum. And the very last thing I can do is I need to publish this. So now I can go ahead and start inputting some information. So we'll use my name. As you see, it automatically created a orders ID. My billing address will be the same as my shipping. My customer service rep is John Smith. And now I'm going to choose some product. So I want one quantity of a gym membership. My next quantity will be, I'll take 3 magazine subscriptions. I'm going to choose submit. And now I'm ready to take my next order and I can move on to my next phone call. So let's go to DocuWare and pull back our orders. Now you can see here's my order information. And I can then see my index entries. It's got my first name, last name. It's got the order ID, the customer service rep, my shipping address, and the email address that I used. So go ahead and click cancel on this. And now there's a new document that was received. And it's going to show me the order information. And from here, I can then choose to process the document to send it further down the line to obtain payment, or I can choose to reject the document. Let's go ahead and fill in some other information here. And as you see, if I don't put anything in a field, it's going to mark it red, that it is a required field. My billing address is not the same. I'm going to choose a different customer service rep. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some product information in there. And I'm going to choose submit. And now I'm ready to take my next order. Now if I go back to DocuWare, I have a new task to act on this order. So as you see with me creating a form, I've now enabled a workflow to happen where another department can now act upon this document to process it. And then once they process it, you can send now further to someone else for further processing and then eventual closure of this document. So creating forms within Docuware is very simple. There's many different items to leverage. You can even attach a file and even capture a signature of a document. And then we even have some fixed elements too, so we can have some images to the document. Well, I want to make this document a little bit more nicer, so I want to add an image to this. I'm going to browse to an image I have, and then I could choose to resize that image as well. Especially if you have company logos you want to add in there. So the power of forms makes creating documents and giving users access to Docuware without giving them access to Docuware and inputting their own information or giving the customer service team the ability to enter orders and take down information. Since we do have a few more minutes, is there any questions on what we covered today? Yes, you can copy and reuse a form. So as long as it's the same version, let's go ahead and save that. So I can input a form that I've already predefined. And if I want to export a form out, I can then take this one, I can export this out. And it will create this DWF file. And then I can go ahead and import this and go to my downloads folder. And now I've gotten the form. You just have to choose where you want to store that submitted form to, because most likely it could be a different location. But as you see, I don't have to redo all this work now. I can create the form and then import it into another system. Yes. So during submission, you can I could redirect to the following URL after I submit it. So say if I want to have it submitted back to docuware.com, I can have it submitted. We'll go ahead and click. As you see, I have the same name there. We'll call this version 3. Make sure my output is correct. Customer service rep. Product. And we'll go ahead and as you see, you have to redefine your product lists. Now I'm ready to use it once I enable the permissions. So as you can see, if you don't enable the permissions, it does warn you that you're not authorized to use the form. Go ahead and click publish. Now I'm ready. So let's go ahead and take some test information. to make sure my new okay, that's perfect. Now I'm gonna submit. And now I redirect it to Docuware.com. If I was capturing data, so this is a great question. If I was capturing data for my form in the field from, say, a mobile device, can I add photos into the form from my mobile? You would have to use the upload file. That I'm not 100% sure on. I would have to do some research into that. I've never tried attaching a file from a mobile device. So I can always get back to you, Graham, on that. With my test, I've personally never encountered that. Well, if there's no other questions, I thank you for attending today. Once again, my name is Mike Shura. I'm one of the professional services engineers with Docuware, and I hope everyone has a good morning and a great afternoon wherever you are. Thanks and have a good day.